Okay, now, using what we know about transferring a break between the left fourth finger and the right thumb, let's talk about the double undercut. This is a card control or a transfer cut. Those are both names for what class of sleights this falls into. So we start with a left pinky break, about the center of the deck. How we get the break we'll talk about in a minute. So this is what the action will look like. It will look like I simply give the deck 2 cuts like this. All that's actually happened is I've moved the position of the break to the top of the deck. So if, say, the 5 of spades, if I had a break above the 5 of spades, I would give the cards 2 cuts like this, and now the 5 of spades is on top. So how does this work? You have a break somewhere in the middle of the deck. Let's say the card that I have a break above is the 9 of diamonds. So I have a break. I'm going to transfer the break to the right thumb, as we just talked about. Now with my left thumb, I'm going to come under in dealing position, but I'm not actually going to hold the break. I'm just going to kind of have my hand resting here. And with my left thumb, I'm going to pick off some cards, just pull it down on some cards. This is from below the break, so about half the cards that are below the break is what I'm going to pull down on. And I'm going to take these in left-hand dealing position. So I've still got the break over here. Now, my thumb's going to move to the top of the cards, and my index finger and thumb are going to apply a little bit of pressure so I can take these fingers away. So the cards are held like this. Then I'm going to place those cards on top of the deck, and again, I'm still holding that right thumb break, on top of the deck, but angled like this. In other words, this corner and this corner do not have to clear my middle finger and thumb just yet. We'll get there in a second. I put the cards here angled so this corner goes all the way to the back, kind of like this, and then my right index finger is going to pin them to the top of the deck so that they're in this position, and I'm still holding that break. Now my left hand comes under the deck, and I'm going to transfer the break to my left fourth finger. My left fourth finger goes into the break. My left index finger and thumb apply a little pressure. The only difference is instead of my left thumb going here, it's going to go up here. And so as I let go of the break, and I now have it with my left fourth finger, I can push with my left thumb and square that portion with the top of the deck. Now I've got a break and about a quarter of the deck is under it, so I again transfer the break to my right thumb, and now I just let those cards below the break fall into my hand. I just relax my thumb so they fall into my hand, and then I just bring them to the top again. I apply pressure with the index finger and the thumb just a little bit so I can move these fingers away. This goes on top. I re-grip the deck in left-hand dealing position and then square everything up. And now the 9 of diamonds is on top. So let's do that one more time. The 2 of spades, and I have a break above the 2 of spades. So I transfer to the right thumb. I pick off some cards from below the break, I should say, pin them to the top in this angled position. While holding the break, I now transfer the break back to the left fourth finger, and as I do so, I push with my thumb so that I can then square the cards up. And then I transfer the break back to my right thumb again, and then I simply relax the right thumb to let these cards drop off into dealing position, again pinch with these fingers, put them on top, and then square up. And that moves the card that was that I had the break above to the top of the deck. So why do we do a double undercut instead of simply just cutting at the break? Well, here's why. Let's say I had a card here on top of the deck, the 9 of clubs. Now we're going to learn how to cut the deck in this fashion in a little later, but this specific fashion, we'll talk about that later, so it doesn't matter for now. But let's say I cut over some cards like this, and then I cut the deck again like this. Well, anyone watching is going to know, oh, I just cut the deck back at the same spot. That card's probably still on top, which is true. But if I cut the deck like this, and then I cut the deck like this, now it seems like I actually cut the deck. By breaking this second cut up into 2 cuts, it basically kind of tricks the mind and tricks the eye into thinking that these cards were actually cut. But of course, this double undercut that we've been talking about has the same effect as just cutting to the top, cutting at the break. All you're doing is cutting some cards first and then cutting the next pile. So it's just much more deceptive way of doing that. And that's the double undercut. Keep in mind that if you have a break below, say, the 9 of clubs, and then you do a double undercut, it will end up on the bottom. Whereas if I had a break above the 9 of clubs and I do a double undercut, then it ends up on the top.